want to say about immigration policy?
For sure. So I think
Thank you.
the media does misrepresent like a lot of the statistics just based on bias. But I do believe we do have an immigration problem currently in the United Kingdom.
Why is that?
I think a lot of immigrants, whether they're illegal or not, don't usually tend to integrate into British culture and values very well. They tend to kind of just migrate over here and create their own kind of communities.
I'm not asking this to call you out, but do you know what British values are? Can you name one?
Yeah, for sure. So like drinking tea, talking about the weather.
That's not a value.
Is that serious? Are you being serious? I feel like that's a joke.
100%. I mean,
oh my god, wait,
culture.
that's part of British culture.
British culture is drinking tea.
Not really culture.
That's actually.
Okay, hang on.
No. Yeah.
If I asked you, right?
Wait, KJ, you can Google it if you'd like to, right? But I'm just saying, the people who sit there and say, "Oh, they don't represent British values," typically don't know what British values are. So, drinking tea is not one of them, mate. I don't know. I don't know about you.
Isn't tea from also China?
No, it's from India.
Drinking tea that's not even British. Actually, I mean, I guess that could be a representative of British culture, just taking things and claiming it's yours.
Yeah, fair enough. But I mean, I do think it is one of the okay, then like going to the pub. That's definitely part of like British culture.
No, right. Listen, I'm not naming social
going on
stuff. No, KJ. There's actually like literally there is a set standard of British values. Like you can Google it. It's genuinely like what the country claims is its values. It's not like I'm not telling you to just name British culture. Because if I was to say something like, oh yeah, British culture represents, I don't know, Shameless or some shit, it represents going to spoon, like that's what I'd say the things that I kind of love about being British and being British. But I want you to name an actual British value because you're saying that people who immigrate don't represent that. But it's not drinking tea and it's not going to the pub. And either way, I work with asylum seekers. We go pub, like we go for a drink.
Yeah, I mean, I do think there's also like a large disparity in terms of like how they want to introduce Sharia law.
Right, I got it. Because you've kind of pivoted now. Okay, you kind of go.
No. That's what I'm getting to.
No, but KJ, wait.
They want to create
you
their
said
own
that they
system.
don't represent. You said they don't represent British values, but then you can't tell me what a British value is. So you said that they don't represent British values, but you can't tell me what a British value is. Oh, bye, Logan. And now you've randomly shifted to Sharia law. Can you please give me a British value? I'll even let you can have time to Google it, mate. And then we can talk about how they don't represent it if you'd like to. But just coming out with that claim and then not being able to substantiate it really says something. Because you don't know what British values are.
I'll go grab my laptop. My laptop's upstairs, so my connection might go like pretty cracked for like 2 minutes. But just give me 1 minute.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know necessarily if this is true. Like, most immigrants speak the language first and foremost, which you'd think is a big part of integrating within a culture is speaking the language. Like 90% of immigrants speak English. Lots of them have similar labor outcomes. Lots of them also go to the pub. I think I went to uni not a year ago, and pretty much everyone I knew who was an immigrant also went to the SU bar and drunk.
Yeah. we all
very
go
common.
Like I'm friends with. I mean, I say friends. I've got clients who I can't say friends, but I do see them as friends in many ways. And the clients that I work with, yeah, like I'll see them in spoons sometimes, and it's fucking hilarious. I'll be like, yeah, like, and then we'll just have a pint of Guinness. It's great. But like, yeah, to claim that they don't drink or whatever. But also with what you said about language as well. In my company, we teach ESOL classes because one of the standard things when it comes to part suitability, which is what applications look at when they're accepting you or denying you, is the ability to speak the English language to a GCSE level. They're trying to move it up to, I believe it's bachelor's degree.
What?
Yeah, they're trying to move it up. They're trying to move up the standard, which is obviously very hard for people. But because of colonialism, most of the world can speak English.
Wait, a bachelor's degree? I'm not even... Well, I would like to think I could get that, but I'm not even sure I would be able to get that standard.
The irony of it. It's the irony of it. I'm like, okay, so you want to move the British, the sort of part suitability thing to a bachelor's degree level, yet majority of people in England who are born here cannot speak to a bachelor's degree level in English. Like, it's just...
That's so strange. But also you can look at things like civic participation rates. They're exactly the same after an immigrant has been here 15 years, which seems to suggest a an increase in integration into the UK. Like, it seems to be there are no real statistics on people not integrating, especially when they've come to a country, and that kind of makes sense. Like, if you're moving to a place, you want to be with the people, you want to be, feel as if you're one within the community. So anyone who moves anywhere, like, I don't know, my cousin moved out to Spain. He's actually actively learning Spanish and integrating into the community, and especially people who have paid and stuff as well. They'll want to do the same. There's probably very few people who are like, well, I just want to live in my own bubble and not do anything when it comes to British culture, because that's what goes on inside Britain.
Yeah. Wait, can I ask your opinion on something? Are you guys for the banning of niqabs and burqas?
No.
No, with the caveat that I think they suck anyway, but people should be free to wear whatever they want.
Yeah, I think if it's something, so I'd say no, but obviously this is because of freedom of religious expression, right? But it's also because, if it's something that's insisted upon people, like, it's not your choice to wear it. Yeah, absolutely. Like, that's bad. But if you choose to wear it, I don't give a fuck.
I mean, yeah, but the problem is, though, it's not part of religion. Like, the burqa and the niqab are not part of Islam religion. It's a cultural thing. It's actually...
Are they not?
No, it's not. You can search it up. It's actually something that's forced on women by men of that culture for the purposes of decency.
Depends on the specific culture, though, as well, because and I can say this as well. It is correlated with the religion. I have a lot of friends who are Muslim. It's tied with it, and not every single woman who represents Islam has to wear the burqa or the hijab, but or the niqab, but they can choose to do so if they would like to. It depends on where you are. If you're in somewhere like Afghanistan, which is controlled by a terrorist group, then no, like, that's imposed upon you, and that's misogyny, and that's people weaponizing religion to cause harm. I think all religion is. I think all
Muslim scholars do not consider.
I think all Abrahamic religions are innately harmful. It doesn't mean that everybody in that religion is then harmful. Do you understand? Like, I think that they can.
But it's not part of the religion. Like, the Quran does not say anything about the niqab and the burqa.
It doesn't say about those things, but it vaguely goes like, tell your wives and daughters to cloak themselves, and that's where most of them probably get it from.
But the reason I have a problem with it is due to the fact it's not part of any religious.
Just real quick though, before we kind of go off of this as well, have you Googled the British value? Do you want to go back?
Yes, I have.
Okay, do you have them up?
I do.
Okay, so which one do you think asylum seekers or immigrants do not have a hard time with representing in British society?
I think one of them would definitely be the rule of law.
The rule of law, which emphasizes equality above the law.
Fair
so application
for
of
instance,
rules and understanding.
An example of this would be how they want to impose Sharia law above our law. For instance, there is currently 85 Sharia courts. And they want to go by that instead of the current British legal system.
There's Sharia councils; they're not courts. They have no legal power within the UK. Councils,
correct. But they want them to have legal power in terms of, like, divorce, inheritance, etc.
No, dude.
Hang on. So, when it comes to divorce courts, these are in civil matters, so they're not enforcing anything to do with the state on people. You can do this. I believe there's Sikh councils as well, and there's Christian councils, and a lot of people do go to these councils because they are all of the faith of whatever religion it is. So it's basically just an extra thing to go, hey, look, you're getting married. I'm making sure this is within UK law correct, but also within our religion correct as well. So, yeah.
Yeah. I can agree with that. But I mean, the problem I have, the reason I have a problem with the niqab and the burqa, it's currently illegal to wear a ski mask or a motorcycle helmet in a shop, for instance, because the concern that it'll be hard to identify someone, as well as the fact that it could be threatening or intimidating, right? The same way that a niqab could do the exact same thing. Like, for instance, there's been multiple cases of people wearing niqabs shoplifting, and I'm not saying there's any correlation between obviously wearing a niqab and shoplifting, but the fact that we cannot identify these people after they have done it, it kind of creates that one rule for one, one rule for the other. And considering it's not protected under the Religious Human Rights Act or whatever, then it should not be. It
Is
doesn't
it
really have a
not?
place on the high street. It's not protected under religious. It's just a cultural thing.
Wait, hang on, no. It could be seen as a religious thing under our laws, and I'm not sure if it is or it isn't. Because if people can go into shops with them, presumably, then that's legal.
Yeah, it's currently legal. It's currently legal, but it should be illegal, and that's one of the policies of Restore, because it isn't. It's not part of Islam. It's something imposed by the culture.
Well, it seems to
in
be
which
an
the- in which
interpretation
countries
of the
practice Islam.
Quran, very
Yeah,
much
it's-
straight
it's
from
kind of-
like. I
Yeah,
agree. Like,
KJ,
sorry, go on.
it's the same kind of way that in other religions, some people will choose to wear clothing that they feel symbolizes that religion or is a representative of that religion. So, like, even though we can say that it's not directly mentioned in the Quran, which yes, you can easily say that it's easily it's tied to religion. It's tied to some sort of symbolism within religion. Does that make sense?
It's tied to
So it's still
culture, in
It's
which
still a representative of it, though. So yeah, it depends on. I guess it also depends on personal choice as well as culture. For some people, it's not personal choice, and then they've claimed that that's culture. But to me, that's just kind of a dictatorship,
I mean, some scholars, actually, most scholars, forbid wearing it, considering it's not part of the Islamic culture or Islamic religion. It's part of culture in countries where they practice Islam.
Yeah, all you're telling us is there is other scholars who will like go, yes, you should be wearing it. Yeah.
I
You're
also
talking about
think
the
all-
interpretation here.
Yeah. I mean, I also think all immigration is bad.
You think
All
all
immigration-
immigration is bad?
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
all
KJ,
immigration.
can I ask you a question just about that
Sure.
statement that you just said? So if you think all immigration is bad, would you be happy losing 30% of doctors and 19% of nurses in our
Is
NHS?
it 90%? Jesus.
Sorry, 19. 19.
Oh,
one nine.
19. I was going to
19,
say.
Christ. Honestly, it might be one day. But yeah, would you be happy with losing 30% of our doctors and 19% of our nurses in the NHS?
I mean, that depends on if the other populations, the other immigrant populations would also be deported. So, for instance, if only the doctors and nurses were to be deported, it'd be a
Well,
bad thing.
You said, one second though, you made the statement that you believe all immigration is bad.
Correct.
So that would encompass people who are doctors and nurses, and anybody who's working in public transport. I mean, and the boost that immigrants bring to this economy. So, in other words, if you see all of it as bad, then you'd be happy with removing it, correct? So
Correct.
that would be
And
30%.
under the understanding that
that would be
also the
30%
immigrant
of
population
doctors.
who are not done.
One moment, that would be 30% of doctors, 19% of nurses, and transport would crash, economy would crash, everything would pretty much crash.
Not really, because you
But
also
why?
have to
Why
deport.
do you know what? Because I mean, we can see how illogical that would be. That would literally send the country into free fall. But can you tell me why exactly you think all immigration is bad?
I will do, but I would just like to say that the percentage of the population is 16% of the population, right, are immigrants in the UK. So you'd also be deporting 16% of the population in general, whether that would also be the nurses included, right? So the amount of people going down would be the same as the amount of nurses going down. So there wouldn't actually be much of a disparity.
Well, no, there would be and there'd also be. I mean, if you think about how much the NHS is currently suffering, and that's even with people in there, who are highly qualified, working the fucking arse off and not being paid enough. With them being removed, that would be what 49% removed. In terms of just if you had to add the 30% and the 19 together, that'd be like 49% removed.
You wouldn't
And
have them
if you think about
together
if
because
you think about the waiting list, no, this is just to do with healthcare, but that would be on the waiting list. That would also then extend by several margins because they're not staffed enough. And that wouldn't just be
but the
for,
waiting
so if
list
you're
would also
saying-
decrease
if you're
because
saying
the
yes,
people on the
1
waiting list
second,
are also
1 moment though, 1 minute though, because I get what you're saying. You're saying if all immigrants are moved, the waiting list would also go down. No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't.
So you're saying there are currently
majority of
no
people-
immigrants on a
majority of
waiting
people
list?
on an NHS waiting list are British citizens, so it would be British citizens who are suffering because you wanted to remove 49% of their medical staff.
By the way, just to clarify, my original statement was a bit exaggerated. What I meant to say was I think immigration is bad. I think the Australia immigration laws are the good ones. where you to enter a country, you have to have the skill set to do a job. So you can't just come over because you want to start a life here. You have to like actually have a
Can I
qualification.
ask you a
to come over.
question then?
Correct. Go on.
Did 10-year-old me have been deported because I had no skills?
Are you an immigrant?
Yes, I am. That's why I've said would 10-year-old me have been deported because I had no skills.
When did your family move over?
When I was 10. I'm 29 now, so 19 years ago.
Okay, but I'm asking, like, for what reason did your family move over?
That's none of your business.
Well, if
Yeah,
you're...
it's also irrelevant, by the way. It's also irrelevant. Like, regardless of the reason that you come here, buying it be like, you know, a legal reason, it's important to note as well that 80% of people who are classed as illegal are actually people who just overstayed their visa. So their initial entry into the UK would have been on a work visa, an education visa, something like that. And they've come here, and then because the prices keep rising to renew those, you know, that status, they can't afford it. So then they end up being classed as illegal, and then they end up getting deported, or they have to move back, or whatever, within a certain amount of days. And
Right.
yeah, that's the 80% when we're talking about illegal. Asylum seekers are never illegal. There's never, I don't see any bad sort of reason that someone would want to be an immigrant in the UK, other than that the UK is kind of shit.
Also, Australia do have asylum seekers. Like,
Yeah.
they let
I just
people
wanna
in
know what
for
my
persecution
presence
reasons.
in this country.
Yeah,
why
yeah, for
that's
sure.
a
But I mean, like,
negative thing.
Also, KJ, following on from my point about NHS, and I know that you were saying that like that would all drop because the general immigration rate would drop, which is incorrect, by the way. That is very incorrect. Just because of how many British citizens require that healthcare, it would cause monumental distress to the healthcare
Don't
system.
forget with the aging population as well.
Oh yeah, the aging population, which by the way is majority British citizens, they would be in immense suffering. How many immigrants are in care work? How many immigrants work in care homes? How many immigrants do hospice and things like that? They would be suffering immensely. But also, 1 in 4 workers are immigrants who are like on a economic engine stall. So food shelves would also be empty because they wouldn't have staff to fill them.
yeah.
Like, I want to know why my presence as an immigrant in this country is such a negative thing.
I mean, personally, if I was Prime Minister, I would deport anyone who can't trace their roots back here before 1945.
Okay, that's stupid.
That's really stupid. God, this country would suffer immensely. No, KJ, I can tell you why this country would suffer immensely, not only for like the economical reasons, but I guess interpersonally as well. One of the biggest reasons that things like racism exist, because race isn't real, just to sort of throw it out there, race isn't real in a biological value sense. It's a social construct that was designed for the Atlantic slave trade, right? So race is not real. But the reason that it kind of exists is because of things like segregation, the lack of cultural expression, the lack of multiculturalism. It results in people kind of sitting in their own mindset, not ever looking outside of themselves, and then seeing anything external from themselves as something to be feared, something that's different or alien. In fact, the word alien was literally stems from people being anti-immigration, because people are seen as extraterrestrial, as if we don't all share the same planet in the middle of space. But do you understand? Like that's
Yeah.
on a social reason. But then economically, this country would literally go free fall. I've told you, food shelves would be empty, and you'd be deporting 49% of hospital staff.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, we've got ourselves in a situation like this. I mean, if we didn't allow immigration this much in the first place, we wouldn't be in this situation. But I'll tell you one thing though, I think we should ban asylum seeking completely in this country.
You want to put me out of a job? No, but
Wait, yeah,
No,
no,
I still
that-
haven't had an answer to my question.
I think we should leave the ECHR so we can therefore turn back immigrants.
Gee.
I
illegally.
still haven't had an answer to my question.
Correct. Go ahead.
Yeah, so what is the negative of me existing here as an immigrant, of my father existing here as an immigrant, of my brother existing here as an immigrant?
It would be increased pressure on public services like health and education,
I pay
housing
my
affordabilities,
taxes.
potential downward pressure of wages.
I pay
for
my
those skilled.
taxes.
Wait, hang on. If you're saying it's increased pressure, do you know that natives increase pressure more than immigrants?
much more.
Yeah, but you're still putting more pressure on, which is not.
I pay
needed.
my taxes.
Okay, so do you think we should like sterilize everyone in the UK and then just bring in immigrants because they're less pressure?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so less pressure is not your metric that you're actually using to see if people are a net gain or a net decrease or whatever.
Exactly. It's clear that's not where your priority actually is, because if it was, you would be targeting the British citizens who do put more pressure on it, right?
Right.
'Cause
Wait, by
it's,
the
when
way,
I when I
just
say when I
quickly,
say
you
that
guys
when I
voted
say that
Green.
immigrants don't put as much pressure on it, I mean by a gigantic margin. It's
Also-
majority of immigrants are taxpayers. The actual problem in this country are the billionaires who evade paying tax with offshore accounts, which is interesting because Farage wants to increase that, make the rich richer, the poor poorer. He wants to get rid of legal loopholes that basically prevent. Sorry, he wants to keep in the legal loopholes that basically prevent billionaires from evading tax. And him insisting upon that will increase their riches, whilst everybody else kind of suffers because he wants to cut everything else.
I mean, I just think immigration is bad. Like,
But you all right, but you
You're
don't
not
you haven't
backing
you still
up.
haven't really provided a reason for it, and this is kind of where I end up in the same sort of predicament, right? You haven't really provided a reason for why immigration's bad. I provided multiple reasons for why it's good.
What specifically is it? Is it the fact that they're from a different country to you and they might speak a different language than you? Is it that they look different to you? Like, what is the problem?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I do not hate anybody for who they are. I don't hate people from, or I don't dislike people from like Pakistan and stuff. I just don't want them. I just do not want them in my country.
Why?
I think it's mainly due to the fact that like we should just keep British, and like every country.
Why?
Yeah,
keep
I
their
don't know
own
if you know
country.
this, KJ. I don't know if you know this, but Britain has never, ever, ever been without immigration. I'm just telling you now. And Britain also went and colonized half the world. You know what? If you really want all of us out, and I'm saying this as a Jamaican, if you want all of us out, seriously, give us back the gold. Give us back the gold that you took from Africa and India. Give us back every single import that you've ever taken from another country. Give us reparations for slavery because the Church the Church of England invested 760 million into slavery. You can
Okay,
give
but
us
that's
that
the
back as well,
past.
and then we can leave you. We can leave you on
Honestly,
your own.
at this
you know?
point, if that's the case, deport the royal family too.
No,
Yeah, deport the royal family. They're fucking German.
They're not British.
They're
I'm
not
also
British.
German. I'm German British.
Okay, you get out as well.
Then you get out as well.
But I can trace my roots back to like
Doesn't matter.
1700.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
And I'm not being funny. With the level of colonization that Britain inflicted, colonizing, God, what, 3/4 of the world? 54 or 55 countries in Africa? Majority of people have a right to abode because of this, who are still, well, I mean, the older people who are still alive have a right to abode in this country because of that. Britain
Thank
has
you,
dipped its fingers in fucking everywhere. Britain's been everywhere. So
My
we're
question is
very
like, how does
fine.
me being here impact you day to day, KJ? What is my existence? How does my existence impact you?
I mean, it may not impact me directly, but it impacts me indirectly.
How?
Because the more people there are in a country, the more money you need in that country, right?
Right, but I pay my taxes, so my taxes go to fund in this country.
Immigrants do 20 billion a year for taxes.
Like, I'm white.
In
is
re-
that
in-
acceptable,
sorry,
or
in
is it just
annual
people of
tax
colour you don't
revenue.
like?
But yeah, it's kind of clear that you haven't really thought it through, because immigrants do a lot for us. They prop up our NHS, they prop up our education service. A lot of infrastructure relies on immigrants, and that's not particularly like our fault. It's just that we're an aging country, because we have basically better healthcare because of those immigrants, right?
People are
So-
living longer, yeah.
Exactly. So it's not a bad thing that we need to admit, to say, hey, yes, we may need immigrants because of our aging population. Like, that's an okay thing to admit. But now we need to actually go forward and say, hey, what practical policy can we put forward so that our NHS doesn't crumble, so that our infrastructure, doesn't suffer?
Exactly. Can we bring up Tisha, because she's a Pakistani woman? She wants to question him on his.
By the way, just to make it abundantly clear, I think immigration has benefited the UK. Like, I don't think immigration has always been bad. I don't think immigration is always bad. But I'm saying at this current point in time, the amount of immigrants we are getting at the moment is not beneficial for the UK.
One moment though, do you know how many we're getting?
Yeah, we're getting like 40,000 on boats each year.
That's asylum seekers.
Yeah, that's
40,000.
asylum seekers, mate. And you know what would be
40,000.
better? You know what would be better, actually? And this would absolutely boost our economy if we allowed asylum seekers to work.
Okay, but the fact of the matter is they cannot work. It is illegal to work.
Sure,
right?
but we could allow them to work.
Yeah, that's what
a policy that has been
we're
put
saying.
forward.
They should be allowed to work, because then
They
they can
should
contribute to the country.
KJ, I can tell you right now, and I'm saying this, obviously this is completely qualitative, but like immigrants, especially the ones that I've worked with, mainly asylum seekers, because I specialized in that, they they have such a level of like integrity, and they really, really want to work. They had a life before they came here. They had people, they had jobs, they had family, they had children, they had lives before they came here. They want to emulate that as much as possible. Yet they've come to a country that treats them like they're alien and extraterrestrial and subhuman, and then they're not allowed to work. And the sort of quote unquote benefits that they get from the government, it's not benefits obviously, but the small amount of pay or provided accommodation,
They cost
is
us 10
completely
billion a year minimum.
it's completely disgusting. Like I've in this last week I've had 7 clients who are homeless.
Hi guys, how are we all doing?
Hello to you. I'm
Good,
sad.
good.
I had to bring you up when I saw your message.
Oh, thank you so much. Happy Friday. So I heard KJ talk about Pakistani people. So I am Pakistani heritage KJ, and I would just like to understand how someone like me impacts you day to day.
I don't think you impact me day to day or directly. I think you impact the country indirectly. Just by
Can you explain how I impact the country indirectly?
For sure. So I'm guessing you immigrated over here after
No.
1945.
No, I was born here.
Okay, but I'm saying like your family heritage was not in the country like before 1945, correct?
My grandparents came here, yeah.
Okay, in what year? Like who was the first person in your like bloodline, whatever, to come over to England?
Oh, sorry, I was getting a call. I don't know what year they came.
Why does that matter? I'm very confused.
Well, the
Sorry,
British
sorry,
population
I
for
just got a call, so I missed
1945 was
something.
99.9% white.
Okay, why does
So
that
KJ,
matter?
sorry. No, let me answer. So I don't know what year my grandparents came. So can you just get to the point, please?
Okay, so I personally think that you shouldn't be in a country that you are not, heritage to.
So you should
Why
fuck
is
off
that?
to Germany.
Wait,
Yeah,
wait,
you
wait,
should
sorry,
go back to
sorry,
Germany.
yeah, yeah.
Heritage
So
here.
sorry, KJ. Why is that? Can you explain the negative impacts this has?
Because Pakistani's main religion is Islam.
I'm an atheist, so can we move on to the actual points, please?
Okay, but I'm sure someone in your family is Islam.
No.
Or Muslim.
Someone in your family is Islam. Holy fuck!
Do-
You just
do
said
we-
what?
Yeah.
Someone in your family is Islam. Holy fuck!
Wait, but also
I just,
British
I'm
Muslims?
really sorry, guys.
Can I-
They don't
I'm really
exist.
sorry, guys. Guys, let me get to his point because I think he's exposing himself here. So not every Pakistani person is a Muslim, and I'm evident of that. So again, what's your
KJ,
point?
this isn't very British values of you. One of the
Yeah.
British values is tolerance of those with different faiths and beliefs.
Yeah, but that,
Well,
that
he
was
didn't
made
know.
by
He didn't
woke
know what the
people.
British values were.
Did you
until I
just say
actually told him to
British?
look them up.
You say British Muslims don't exist?
He did.
What the
He did.
fuck are you on about? Like,
So-
there
so
are
KJ
completely English people who will be Muslims.
Yeah, KJ.
Yeah,
there's
okay, the
also-
converts,
KJ,
the converts,
one
but let's be
second,
real.
One second,
they've
KJ,
been
because
brainwashed.
you're not very
guys,
intelligent.
please, can we just get to the, I want to just really get to the root cause here. So
don't-
as I stated, KJ, no one in my family is a Muslim. So right, next point.
Okay.
I want to get down to
Facts,
understanding
the
why
facts,
you
right?
have got
You want to
an
hear the
issue with
facts? You want to
me.
hear the facts, right?
Is it I'm brown? Let's just be honest. Is it that I'm brown?
No.
Right,
You
what
haven't
is it
produced
then?
one fact.
Let me give you the real facts, okay? Because
You haven't produced a single
Okay, so
fact.
first would be like
Free
fiscal
Palestine,
costs.
please. Go on, KJ.
Okay, here we go. Fiscal costs. Many immigrants do contribute to taxes. Not
We're
disputing,
not talking about many immigrants. We're talking about Pakistani people here.
but they increase the net cost of social welfare system.
Can you provide any evidence for that?
Yes.
Okay.
The
hold on.
internet.
You are an
Yeah,
immigrant.
the internet.
Therefore,
the internet,
you then.
the
Wait, did
internet
you
is
say the
not a
internet?
source. I'm sorry, guys, just 1 second. The internet is not a source. Can you find the primary source that tells you Pakistani people are a net cost to the economy? And let me just tell you, I did frame this in me centering myself in this conversation. So I will say to you, whilst you are finding that evidence, that I am not a net cost. I have a really well-paying job, a career. I have private medical insurance. So when I was framing this, I mean, you've turned it into a generalization. You've shifted the goalposts, but please do find the evidence that Pakistani people are a net cost to the economy.
Okay, here you go. Integration. In 2013, YouGov study suggested that.
No. Net cost to the economy, not integration. Net cost to the economy was your claim.
Okay,
Thank you for the
here we go.
follow.
Okay, here we go. Pakistani families are among the worst affected by poverty in the UK, which some argue can lead to social problems if not addressed. The economic change can perpetuate systems related to a perceived unwillingness to integrate.
Again, net cost to the economy. You are not providing any evidence based on this.
I don't know if there is any.
I don't know. Do you know what a net cost to the economy means, KJ?
Yeah, that means you take more than you give.
Right, exactly. So please, can you provide your evidence for that?
Okay, here you go. Data indicates that people from Pakistani origin in the UK have high rates of economic inactivity and are concentrated in deprived areas, often facing high rates of... Hang on. Contributing to a higher net fiscal cost compared to other groups that include lower female labour participation, larger family sizes, and reliance on benefits.
Okay.
76.2% of people on universal credit are white, by the way.
Right. So just 1 second, KJ.
Okay,
what does
there is a larger white majority in the UK.
KJ, what does economic inactivity mean?
It means like you're not contributing.
No.
No.
When you look at the actual primary data, because I've had this presented before, have you gone onto the actual primary source and have you searched what it means by economic activity when you're looking at that specific data set?
Okay, so economic
Let me give you a clue.
people who are working.
Let me give you a clue. Does it include students in economic inactivity?
It does not.
It actually does, and this shows that you've chat GPT'd it.
I haven't chat GPT'd
You have, because if you looked at the data set, economic inactivity includes students. Now, students within England pay to study, unless they're in Scotland, where they get education for free.
Okay.
So this shows that you've quickly, and the fact that we can hear you typing shows you're trying to get this information in real time. You've not spent time looking at the data set.
See, the problem is...
no, the problem is...
Women in this group are...
No, the problem is...
59% of Pakistani women are inactive.
Can we just acknowledge the difference in how he speaks to tea?
Let me land this. What I've demonstrated is me as a Pakistani individual is more equipped to deal with conversations on the economy. Because people like KJ are the ones that have the audacity to think they're better than people like me. Please, I think we can all see how embarrassing people like KJ, who will support a bumbling old fool like Rupert Lowe, where he spent a 28-page policy document on restoring British pubs, but nothing on the actual economy and how we're going to deal with issues of poverty within this country or the wealth inequality gap. It's all just about culture wars. It's boring.
The problem I've got,
exactly.
right?
No, and KJ, you also just came out with another false statement, so I just really want to correct that as well. You said that 59% of Pakistani women in the UK are inactive. It's 46, and the reasonings for that involve being a housewife.
Right, so they're not contributing.
That would be economic. No, that would be they're contributing to their family households. Surely,
cool, but but they're not contributing
who wants
to the
restore,
economic
who wants to restore the way that Britain was, would want to impose something like nuclear families. Correct? Do you like the nuclear family?
What do you mean?
Do you know what the nuclear family is?
Two parents, and then they have children,
kids.
and the two parents contribute. 2.4 kids. The parents contribute in different ways. So surely someone who wants to restore it would want that. That's contradicting.
Could I also just add to that as well? These Pakistani women that are stay-at-home mums, they're not living off of like the social welfare system. They're being provided for by their husband because it's like part of their culture. They are also they are still like given to the economy by doing like their daily shopping and so on and so forth.
But they also get free healthcare, which costs things. So they're not giving it. They're not putting any money into the job, but they're taking money out.
If their husbands are working, they're paying towards healthcare. So
okay, then the husband should get healthcare that she shouldn't.
You don't think that you don't think that healthcare?
Do you think the same? Do you think the same for a woman on maternity leave who's from the UK?
That's different.
Why? How is it different?
She's on maternity
How is it different?
leave.
She's not paying in either. Hold on. If she's a housewife,
but
if a British woman is a housewife and doesn't work and looks after the children, which there's nothing wrong with that if that's what she wants to do, she's not paying any taxes, but she's allowed to have healthcare?
Yeah, because she's British.
Right, so you're just racist.
No, I'm not
well, you're
racist.
xenophobic.
I came up because I specifically wanted to ask Jay a question. you said that like if people's families hadn't been here before the 1945,
Correct.
then they should go back. Should my family go back to where they came from then, which was Ireland? Because all of my family are Irish.
Are you Northern Ireland or Normal Ireland?
Normal Ireland, Southern Ireland.
Then, I mean, yes.
Do you think that the Irish, after everything the UK has done to the Irish, you think that the Irish should go back to where they came from?
I mean, to be fair, like I would actually say no because I don't think you guys are a priority.
Why are we not?
Would you
priority?
wait? Hold
We're
on.
Still,
Would
we're still
you
immigrants.
would you say I should as well when this is my skin color, or is it just Tisha because she's brown?
Wait 1 second. Why? But also
Well,
what
where are you
JSF
from?
said. But why? Why me? Because why are the Irish not a priority? We're still immigrants.
Because the Irish have very similar values and
We're
like
still no, we
cultural
don't. We're
stuff
still
as the
immigrants.
British.
The
We hate
Irish
the
do
British.
not like
We're
the
still-
British,
The
mate.
Irish hate
Okay,
the
but they're
British too.
similar in terms of like they're both
No,
like
no,
Christian
KJ,
countries.
no, they hate.
It's
They hate
because
the
I'm
British, and also
white.
you couldn't even name a British value. You couldn't until
If
I
you
asked
want-
you to.
Sorry, but
You said drinking tea was a British value. That's how intelligent you
Oh
are.
lordy.
No,
Chinese
we
tea,
didn't.
yeah.
Yeah,
No, we
smooth brained
didn't.
cunt.
Did
Tea
you
did-
say
okay,
that?
I'd also
Yeah,
like
he
to
did.
point out that
Yeah, he did
British
say.
people,
One
households
second,
have
so a
high
British
poverty
value-
rates,
He said
55%.
he came up here and he said, "Oh yeah,
This
they
is
don't represent
almost
British
as bad as
values."
the guy yesterday who said
Wow.
that values are light bulbs and
Yeah.
steam engines.
Yeah, I remember that guy.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
like-
why the xenophobia then?
I'm not xenophobic. I don't
Well,
have
well,
a,
all you're
a
saying
hatred
to
or a
us,
dislike
hang on,
or
hang on.
prejudice towards
All you're
people,
saying to us
other cultures.
over and over again is because they're not British, they don't get X, Y, and Z, which is the definition of xenophobia. So
I think they
clearly
have a
you are
lovely
xenophobic. I know you won't own it, but why? Why the xenophobia?
Okay, I'd just like to point out, I don't have any dislike or prejudice towards them. I just don't want them in our country. They,
Yes,
they can have their own lives in their
that's
own country.
dislike. That's dislike. That's what you're saying. You're saying I don't like you enough that you shouldn't have these rights, which is
Okay,
xenophobic
hang
at
on,
its
okay,
definition.
Okay, Neckley.
So
But you
please,
seem-
why the xenophobia?
You
If
seem
I said to
only
you,
have
oh,
this
I don't mind you
opinion
living in the UK, but I don't
Pakistani
want you in my
individuals.
house, is that now also like xenophobic if you were
You don't
someone
own the
of a different
UK.
culture?
Wait, you.
Wait, hang on.
but you
I
seem to
might say
only
that's
have-
xenophobic if you went, I don't want any Pakistani people in my house. Yeah, I'd probably say you're xenophobic. Yes.
Yeah, you have no issue with me and JSF being in the UK, but you have an issue with Tisha being in the UK.
When
Like, that
Tisha was
just-
born here and I
That
wasn't, I would just like to-
screams racism.
Yeah,
just
you
want
are
to get
racist.
that in. Like Tisha was born in this country. I was not.
I mean, one of my best friends is Pakistani.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
don't
don't
talk,
Don't
no,
talk.
no,
I went to university with him.
Don't
token
talk
ID.
about
Right.
it.
How
Wait,
would
That's
your
embarrassing.
friend feel if he heard what you're fucking saying right now?
Oh, he agrees. He agrees.
He agrees that.
Okay.
he
Yeah, I'm
should
calling
leave
cap. This
the
friend doesn't
UK.
exist.
Yeah.
He wants to deport
I can
himself,
literally
I
share
guess.
the
So,
live
KJ,
with him. His name is Rising Phoenix.
KJ, there's a lot of people who, despite experiencing intense racism, and this is actually a trauma response, it really is, they internalize that racism and then they project it out onto other people, hoping that they can slip through the cracks. He won't. He'll deport himself, and you want him deported. You're not a good friend. And
I don't
you
want
are
him
racist.
deported.
You are racist. Oh, what? So every other.
I
every
shared the
other-
live with him.
every other
His name's
immigrant-
Rising
every
Phoenix.
other
I don't know if any
immigrant-
of you guys have heard of
Every
him.
other immigrant other than your mate can stay.
No. Any immigrant who doesn't contribute to society in a
That's not what you
productive
said.
manner.
No, you said anyone that can't trace their family history back to 1945 to the UK should leave.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Apart
So
from
then
like
that would be your
doctors
friend.
and stuff like that.
Your
that
friend
they're
would be
fine.
involved in that, KJ. That's the point. Your friend would be involved in that.
Oh, Covey's in the. I love Covey. Covey works very endlessly on this app to combat racism and help oppressed nations. He has
They are
the German flag in his bio, Covey, because he said he's German British.
am.
He has an issue with people whose families weren't here before 1945. So
Well, actually, our family's been.
Anyway, I'm
very,
kind of
very-
bored of the xenophobia and the like
But I'm not
absolutely no
xenophobic.
reasoning
Like,
That's the
behind
problem,
it.
You're not understanding.
Like, just say it how it is. You don't have a problem with Queen and I because we're white. You had a problem with T.
No,
and the way you
no.
spoke to her said everything because she said she's Pakistani.
Okay.
Yeah.
As
let me-
soon as she
KJ,
said
I
she's
also-
Wait, hang on,
Pakistani,
hang
you
on,
shouted
KJ,
at her,
KJ,
you
KJ,
continued speaking
let me
over her,
tell
and you
you
treated
what
her
I
like
think.
shit.
Before I go
Own
and you
your
guys are moving,
racism.
let me tell you what I
Own
think.
your
Okay, so
racism.
I
This is
think
what I
I
think
don't
the
really
most
care what you
white
think,
British person-
KJ.
is
No,
in the
KJ,
country
we
no
don't
matter
care
what.
what you think. This is
I
what
really
think.
don't
You
care what
guys-
you think,
you
KJ.
guys are
You're
always like-
exposing yourself.
Yeah,
One
you
of the
are.
British values is mutual respect and tolerance of those with different faiths and beliefs. And you've proven that you can't do that. Therefore, you are not following the British values.
Neckley.
Should we deport you?
Mm.
don't forget the
Bit
British
embarrassing
values
that
are
an immigrant is
drinking
schooling you on
Chinese
British
food.
values.
I know.
Yeah.
And the minute
Anyway.
he came up, he said that they don't represent British values. I'm like, can you tell me a British value? He says drinking tea. Full
Yeah.
stop.
Which is
Hmm.
Chinese.
Okay, Neckley,
Right.
before you guys remove me, let me
No,
just say one
KJ,
thing.
no,
No.
KJ, I also want to point out something else because you are racist, you know, and
No, I'm
this
not.
is the thing. Whenever I talk to people like you, and I do very frequently on this app and in real life, you can never stand 10 toes down on your racism. Seriously, own your racism, own it. There's at least you're you know brave about it and shit like that. You guys are not bold. You're not brave. You're a bunch of pussies. You
No,
come up here and
racists
you're
are
like, oh, but
cowards.
I feel this way. I'm gonna dance around my racism. No, we see it what it is. We see it for what it is. I identify it. You have
Neckley,
no problem with JSF. You have no problem with Queen.
Is
You have a
this
problem with
statement
tea.
xenophobic or
You have a
racist?
problem with
Just be
tea.
straight up, yeah? Like, genuinely, right? So I think people who are born before...
The fucking irony.
Just wait,
As
just
I
wait,
said-
just wait.
Wait,
just
as I
wait
said,
for
no,
it.
If you're
Give
gonna
my
say
balls.
real quick, if you're gonna say people before 1945 or whatever were 99.9% white, and that's your reasoning, then yes.
No. That's not what I was going to say. Wait, okay, just
Wait,
let me
no,
It's
finish.
but you've already
xenophobic. I mean,
Okay,
you're trying to
hang on,
hide it.
hang on.
You're trying to hide it behind historical facts, but yes, it's xenophobic.
Wait, but
Okay,
you've
just
already
wait,
proved
just
it-
wait,
no,
just wait,
No,
okay.
no, because you've already proved your own question to be false. Because I've already stated to you that my family weren't here before 1945, because my family are Irish.
Okay, but do you work?
I'm on maternity leave at the moment. I own my own business, but
Okay, that's
still,
fine then.
regardless
what
of
I'm
that,
saying, what I'm saying
you
is
said
the
it
only
was
way I'm okay with
okay
immigration
because
is
the
if they
Irish
are
apparently
working. If they are not
similar to
working,
the
deport them.
UK.
No, that's not what you said. You said if they can't trace their family back to 1945 and it's not
That's
British, then you should deport
literally-
them.
Okay.
You've only
Wait,
added it
JSF, I
in
mean that
because
okay,
we've
so
called
I'm
you out
okay
on
with people who
this.
do not work, who can trace themselves back there. They are not getting
Yeah,
deported.
again, I've already
Yeah,
said
it's-
The people who
96
are
point-
immigrants
nine-
over here,
sorry,
past that time, if they're not
76.2%
working, they're
of
getting
people on
deported.
universal credit are white, and that's even
Wait.
per capita. Like they're still overrepresented.
Let me ask you another question because this is quite thingy. So my great grandfather, he was in the army. He was a prisoner of war in the Changi prisons. He ended up needing specialist care after he came home from war. He was Irish, by the way. Came
Yeah.
over to help the British fight in World War II.
Then yes.
He spent, and I'll say this honestly, he spent most of his life after the war outside of work, in and out of asylums because he basically went crazy after being a prisoner of war. He was basically funded by the taxpayer and not working 100% of the time. Should he have been sent back?
No, because
Why
he was
not?
helping British efforts.
Oh, okay. So all the Pakistanis that help the British efforts, they can stay too, right?
Yes.
This guy.
Let
I
me
mean,
make
if
one
you'd
point.
like to
Change
like
it
walk
again.
back your statement and just say like,
hang on.
Dude, you can
Let me
just
make
take the
this
concession.
abundantly
Wait,
clear.
KJ, KJ, wait.
Oh,
You
I'm
can
trying,
just
I'm
take
trying to
the
say what I'm trying to
recession.
say, and every
Stop
single time
yelling,
one of
stop
you guys
yelling.
got to say something.
Calm
I
down.
listen
It's
to
because
you.
you're a
and I try
racist
and
as
say-
fuck. We
Yeah,
don't
it's because
care
you're
what you have to
racist
say,
and
KJ.
stupid, and you realize that you've been caught with your ass in your mouth, basically, right? Because you've shrunk the statement more and more the more that we've presented you with facts. Initially, I said when you said all immigration is bad, I went, okay, so do you want to get rid of 30% of doctors and 19% of nurses? And then you were like, and then when T came up and then fucking schooled you, and when me and Neckley have been schooling you and Queen and JSF, you've gradually shrunk it, and now it's like it went from, oh yeah, trace your family lineage back anytime before 1945, anytime before this, and now you're like, well,
If they
you
work?
contribute,
Yeah.
he's just shrunk it. This is the point. You racists can never stand 10 toes down on what you say.
I would
Okay,
argue
no,
as
this
well
is
that
what I'm saying,
everyone
okay? Anyone who
contributes
is
to the
born-
economy, right? Because they're buying things all the time, so they're a consumer as well. So
Okay, but
Everyone
I don't
who
think
lives
I'm
in the
not
UK
actively
is-
working
That's my
against
point
us.
about
All immigrants
Pakistani
have to work
women.
or they get deported. People
That's
who
my
are born,
point
people who
about
can trace
What
themselves
about
back to
people who are
1945, they don't have to work and they won't be deported. But
What about people who are
immigrants have to
disabled?
work or they get deported.
KJ,
Yes.
what about disabled immigrants?
Deport them.
Why? They can't
Because
help
they're
being
not working,
disabled.
they're not contributing. They're just
Okay,
here
so
for
do
the
you,
good life.
okay,
By
so
you
do you think
spending their money
British
here.
disabled people shouldn't have anything?
If they can trace their roots back before 1945, no.
Right. So again, you're just xenophobic and you're a cunt. Just say it with chest.
yeah,
You idiot. You're an actual idiot.
like
Well,
adding
like,
the
you can't
Like you
caveat
name a
that
British value and you
you.
want to sit here crying about British values.
The
But,
fact,
wait,
what I'm
hang on,
saying,
but
right,
also real quick, because disabled people still spend the money and move money around the economy as well.
okay, but who gives them
no
the money?
one
Who
is-
gives them the money? The government. So really, they're not doing anything.
Oh, wait, yes, but also, do you not think moving money around, even if it's from the government, helps local businesses?
Okay, but that money could go to someone who is working and trying to do help their
I
kids
think-
and stuff.
It
Like,
could
but
do,
my
but
point
a
being-
reform government would never fucking do that.
I
I
think
don't-
what
I don't
someone
vote
asked
reform.
earlier is a very important question as well. I
I'm
can't
not a
remember who it
reform
was that
voter.
mentioned it. But do you think that the British families should be removed and deported because they're not British and they're funded by the taxpayer?
No, because they're good people.
Oh,
So, but
God.
How do
if
you know that?
Because
wait,
I've met
hold
them.
on. One of them has literally
You
just
bet
been
every
arrested.
single
For,
person.
like, one of them has literally just been arrested yesterday and was arrested in the past for sexual crimes against minors.
I mean,
Like-
I've also met Prince
No, but
Andrew
the
before.
Queen
But you just
also...
said that. You just said they're good people.
Yeah,
No,
you just
no,
said they're good
okay,
people.
okay.
You-
There's
no,
always,
you're
there's
full of
always going to
shit.
be a
No,
bad egg, but I
KJ,
mean, in
KJ,
general, I've
you're
only
full of
met
shit.
2 of them.
The Queen also paid to cover over what Andrew had done initially.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
Queen's
she,
not
she
the best.
protected him. She knew that he was a PDF. She knew he'd gone to that island, that he'd raped children, and she protected him. And the entire royal family would not have their wealth if it wasn't for the colonization of Africa and India. So if you really want to deport us, send that shit back to us as well.
So what I said, deport the royal family. They're not British.
Okay, but that's just tough luck.
they literally.
That's just tough luck. Did you
Bro,
hear that from
you're,
Valentine?
you're, ju- you're just
Did you
trying to
hear that?
caveat your xenophobia over and
I'm
over
really
again,
not.
but then you're coming
Okay,
back
okay,
to the
okay,
basic.
what
Real
I'm
quick,
saying-
real quick. You're trying every which way you can to try and defend the xenophobia, but it's not working. Every time you go, a British person can have this, but someone who's born in a foreign nation cannot have this thing. You are being xenophobic.
Okay, because they can get that stuff from their own government. What I'm saying is,
Wait, no,
if you
they
wanna move
can't.
to England,
They
you
might
have
not be able to
work.
get that thing. They might not be able to get that thing from their own government. We don't know about the state of all countries in the world. So no, they cannot get that thing. And this is why things like the Equality Act is so important. So it stops people like
We should get rid of
you
that.
from discriminating against people from foreign nations. You are fundamentally anti-British. You are fundamentally against our values. You are saying
Then we need
within
to
this
change
bet
our
that you
values.
do not respect people from other nations. You are more of a threat than any immigrant to British values.